Now, going over to the Culture Pride podcast, you have the Denver police trans knife charger going viral on social media, and we'll see if the mainstream media actually picks it up for New York more than the New York Minute. Now, this was brought to us first thanks to Libs of TikTok over at X Twitter, and she says, quote, breaking more trans violence, Denver police just confirmed that the individual who charged at officers with a knife was a man pretending to be a woman. The department also admitted there's a possibility that the individual named Miguel Tapia is in the country illegally. The media has been referring to Tapia as a woman. It's time we talk about the growing epidemic of trans violence in our country. Here's a little 39-second news clip of the, looks like, is it NBC 9? Struggling to see the original person who recorded this, but I believe that was a reference. And it's like about 39 seconds. We'll see what the police have to say.
And was a trans woman
Mm-hmm.
and possibly houseless.
Mm-hmm.
And they are concerned that perhaps that factored in somehow. Is there something that you would like to say to this group?
I would. Certainly we have discovered that the person was transgendered, and there is a belief that the person was houseless. But that did not factor into our decision. I mean, what factored into our decision was the person had a knife and was moving aggressively towards the officers. They tried, I think, in vain to stop them through less lethal means, and then had to transition to a lethal option when that was not when that didn't work.
And was a trans
Again, they have immunity. I mean, it sounds like it was pretty straightforward. Now, of course, if someone charges at you with a knife, depending on the prosecutor, you might go to jail if you were to take action to properly defend yourself. It went pretty viral. Within a couple hours, got 836,000 views and 7.9 thousand likes. There's TikTok continued saying, quote, the trans... What? I don't know why they censored the word... Well, I don't know, maybe it'll get banned on the social media? The bad word that starts with a T? I'll say a terrorist. They say, they quote, the trans terrorist who charged the officers with a knife may be here illegally and have a criminal history. Wow. They say that, quote, police responded to a call of an individual standing in the middle of the road yelling. He then charged at them with a, well, they say large knife. I'm fan who asks it's large or not. It looks like it's about 6 3/4 inch. Maybe a Bowie design. Not David Bowie, obviously. Well, actually, I don't know what he's up to these days, but he was not the original owner, even if he's carrying one. They got 618 likes. Like, this might get graphic, so warning for anyone in the audience who's younger watching. Looks like this is the police dash cam. It's about 55 seconds long.
Hey, put your stuff down and put your hands on your head. Put your hands on your head. Put your hands on your head. Hey, hey.
Oh, yeah. Again, this person is standing in the middle of the street, busy intersection. Of course, not wearing a suit.
Hey, hey.
And yeah, this police department was a lot more lenient than how I think they would have handled it if other people were doing the same thing. So they're having someone with a knife, and they're giving them verbal warning a couple of times. Then they tase the individual, or attempt to. Person keeps charging at him, and again, when you look at the statistics on how much time you have to react when someone starts charging at you, I forget if it's 25 feet, and granted, everyone's different with their reaction time, but you consistently hear, is it 15 or 25 feet? I'm trying to remember the statistic on where you're basically screwed if you don't pull your gun out of the holster by that point. I'm actually surprised this officer was able to pivot that quickly.
Get the knife. She's still holding it up. Throw it up.
Like, person's wearing heels? It looks like they're attempting to save this individual or provide medical assistance.
Yeah. We're on. You good, sir? Yeah. You're on, right? Yep. Here.
Oh, they're handcuffing him. Never mind. Oh, so. But yeah, there's no way this is going to be. I mean, no lawyer is going to try to go against this call. I mean, again, I'm not a legal analyst, but it looks like they gave plenty of verbal warning, and they were definitely in danger given the circumstances. Let me see here. So Libs TikTok also said, hi, thank you to an account called Do Better Denver for helping us get this story. They got 375 likes, which Let's see, is this the same footage? That's the same footage. One of the first comments comes from Gunther Eagleman saying trans violence has become an epidemic and will get worse until we take steps to stop it. Getting 291 likes, which I need to look into the statistics on this. I would be interested to see if it's at a greater rate than the general population. We're seeing a lot of anecdotal evidence. Now, that being said, their population trans community is also increasing as a percentage of the United States. So would be, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. We've seen similar instances with similar types of sample sizes. Now you have Planet of Memes. They did respond to meme form today. And you have the iconic little, and the GIF, not GIF, the funny thing from The Simpsons where they take down the sign, 0 days without, a workplace, incident. And he's taking out a sign that says, days without trans violence, and it's taking down the 1 to replace the 0. Got 188 likes. Paul Zuzupa saying, this is ridiculous. Now trans illegals are coming to America committing violence. I'm sure the media will hide both parts of Miguel Tapia's story. Trans violence by illegals is violence. Getting 61 likes. You have BK Trump Take Back America saying there's a pattern here. And they have a picture of a compilation, 6 shooters. And it says COS shooter identified as non-binary, Denver shooter identified as trans, Aberdeen shooter identifies as trans, Nashville shooter identified as trans. That's where the government intentionally hid the manifesto, so we realize this person is also heavily anti-Christian. And then they say the Philly shooter is identified as cross-dressed, and the Perry shooter identifies as trans. They got 176 likes. Lurkat Media TM responded with their usual picture that says, raise your hand if you're tired of the shit, getting 134 likes. The Salty Goat says, new twist. Trans illegals are a wrinkle we haven't seen much of, but does LGBT stand for the same thing in Spanish? Got 130 likes. Let's see. Wow, really? 3 times? So Jose Carcero says, it took them long enough to tell us that a transgender did this. According to the police, the woman was shot on June 16th when she advanced towards officers with a large knife. And it's an article saying this individual is a woman, and it says tasers were deployed 3 times before the officers fatally shot the woman in Denver. That's their quote, not mine. They got 17 likes, and also reminds me of 1984. Definitely don't make that a drinking game when I reference that, because you assuredly be incapacitated quite quickly. One of the best books ever written by George Orwell, well, anyone in history. Yeah, they talk about rewriting language and newspeak being very, very common and intentionally done to confuse people. Capitalist Mike says it's intentional programming. It's I forget the cartoon of the trans pride. It says I'll show those straight people or straight white people how evil they are. Got 78 likes. Let's see here. Fast France 84 says the Democrats did this, encouraged these beliefs, give them a few inches. Now they took miles. They created chaos in the country. Time to reel the crazies back in. Trump should definitely start mental asylums again. These people need deprogrammed from the Matrix. Getting 67 likes. Which, yeah, that's one of the points of controversy. I think, was it under the Reagan administration? A lot of those facilities were shut down. Now, many of them were also one of the biggest points of contention with that is, well, one, you're being taken against your will. That's very scary when you can think of, well, do you trust the people who are doing that? How many times do you trust the government? And that's, probably not too often. And another issue was some of those places were abusing people. And some people, of course, now in some instances, people did receive help. And I think that's the big question is, how do you help these people? Do they really just need some counseling? I don't personally believe pumping them full of chemicals is really much value. I don't think that would really help them. And depending on who's counseling, of course, it could do more worse than good. But I believe something needs to be done. And I think it really is a cultural issue where, we don't have, in the United States, you've seen a great decline in religion, and family, and community. I don't think it's a coincidence that many of these incidents are exponentially increasing. Now, also in this case, you have someone who's crossing the border illegally. The United States also doesn't really have much of a border. It's almost as effective as Borders Bookstore. That's a joke because they closed over a decade ago, headquartered in Michigan, for the fun business fact of the day. Now, just going down for more comments, or some of the top comments, you have Craig Chamberlain saying, can we just go ahead and deal with the mental health crisis we're having going on in our country now instead of attempting to be politically correct about it, getting 34 likes. Let's see. So Sibian Alexander responds with a comment saying he's a sex offender. Do Better Denver says that, and this is responding with a screenshot of something by Do Better Denver saying the media says a woman killed by police on June 16th was this man, a sex offender who was non-compliant with registering in Wisconsin, and had not registered in Colorado. So, yep, will not be missed. Got 46 likes. Bruce Bilao says Denver supports this delusion. Good luck, getting 56 likes. See if there's any contrarian statements. Merrick Garland press release parody account says someone needs to tell the media. It's a picture of the trans flag. It says trans women are men, getting 93 likes. A lot of people bringing up other evidence of trans individuals committing crimes. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not seeing any contrarian statements. And again, this has become a huge political issue as well as a cultural issue. So I'm sure there are millions of people who are going to be irate that this happened in terms of this individual no longer being alive. And granted, they were also convicted sex offender. So here's my 2 cents. Used to be 3 cents, but 40, or actually no, my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents. 40-year hyperinflation got to increase the rate. But yeah, I don't think society's going to be. I think society is better off, certainly. Now, I also think it's a failure of society. Well, both the border, this should have never happened. You can say a lot about a lot of incidents, but I think this is one of the reasons you'll continue to see the border being one of the top policies culturally as well as politically in the next couple of months as we get close to the election. And again, this first, they had a criminal record, and yet again they weren't deported. Yet again they weren't thrown into jail. Or so, again, another great example of the ineptitude of the government. Just multiple failures. And it'll be interesting to see from a culture perspective where does the pendulum swing in regard to this. What is the most effective methodology to help these people? But let me know in the comments, because again, the anecdotal evidence is mounting. And if you have any specific references, I haven't seen any specific studies on this, but again, is that rate of the violence in trans community greater than other communities? When again, their community is increasing as a percentage in the United States. But again, it'd be fascinating to see the actual percentage of crime. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. It could be significantly greater than the other ones. But let me know in the comments. As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I really appreciate it. Also, leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.